Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another podcast from the Muslim Interlude. I'm not sure what episode this is, to be honest, because the way we've done the recordings, I've not got a clue. So either episode 2, 3 or 4. I guess we'll find out once they've been released. But today we've got Abu Musa with us. It's a different one. It's a different podcast. What we usually, to be honest, I was quite excited by this one, more so because I like talking about it. And the way I actually came across your page, I didn't tell you, but I was on Instagram and I was searching for someone else actually called Abu Musa. I'm not going to lie to you. And then I clicked on the top one and it was yourself. I clicked on the top one. I saw you and I thought, you know what? This is going to make for another day. So I followed you and I kept it. And then weeks later, I thought, here we go. It's the right time. I need to message him now.
Fair play.
But yeah, alhamdulillah, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amma abad. Alhamdulillah, my bro. I'm well. And it's an honor for you to even call me upon. So yeah, jazakallah khair. I appreciate it.
I said to you before this, you are the ones that are busy. We're students. We've got the time. We're fitting in our studies. We say we're studying. We look like we're working hard. But honestly, it's you guys giving the time to us. So BarakAllahu.
Well, like I said to you, we be faking it as well, bro.
Okay, so let's just say we're all faking it. We're all faking it, and we're living for the gram.
It's true though, no? I feel like you know, being the way our nature is, right? There's always an element of like faking it. Like even if you have, bro, you'll have one assignment. I know this from uni times, right? You'll have one assignment and you'll go home and your mom's like, how's uni? Like, it's too much, man. Too much going on. You come home from work. Too much, man.
Really, do what
you probably didn't do anything all day, but
it's true. I was gonna say, really, do you know what you do as well? So you say you've got the assignment. I've been working hard all day. You was at the library for an hour, 2 hours maybe. The rest of the time you with your boys, your mum. You've come home at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening. Your mum looking at it. He's had a tough day, mum. It's been tough.
Yeah, no, I agree, man.
So yeah, let's get into it. So yes, we've got Abu Musa with you, like I said. He's going to give a little bit of a story about his background is more finances and a little bit his own story about to change our mindset actually on careers, on jobs, on running your own businesses. And it'll be an interesting take on what he's got to say. So inshallah, yeah. What made you basically? What do you do firstly, and what made you get into that?
Sure. So what I do basically, I mean, to give you an idea on what I do on a professional basis, I own a recruitment company basically, and I own my own business. Alhamdulillah, we do all right. And the reason I also have my own social media pages where I basically speak about the Muslims and how the Muslims need to achieve wealth and have businesses for themselves. And I talk about taboo sort of topics that not many people do talk about, especially in the corporate environment. Because I think, you know, a lot of the times what happens is that the people who maybe are on social media giving nasiyah as such, and I know many of them personally, who address a lot of the youth who are maybe on road and streets and stuff like that. But there's a massive amount of Muslims that actually go into the corporate world, and not many people are actually able to relate to them. So to give you an idea, my story basically, I would say probably starts from back when, you know, I was at university, and as everyone does, wanted to become, you know, successful as such. And I thought I knew what success was. And basically I got my first job. In recruitment. So it was a sales job. And the reason I got that job is because I always thought to myself, my best skill was speaking to people, building rapport. You know, I was that guy. I just liked speaking to people and stuff like that. So I thought, you know what, sales is the one. That's where I can really do well, really progress. Even though I've been uni, and I know it's not a typical uni job, but listen, how many of us go into typical uni jobs anyway, right? Anyway, I got the job, bro. And I remember my first or second interview, I came home and I told my boys, I was like, brother, there's a guy in this job place. He's on 30K a year. Basic salary. I'm like, if that's me in 3-4 years, I'm loving it. I am loving it, basically. Now here, I don't want to put anyone down on the fact that 30K isn't a lot. That's not necessarily what I am saying. But note here, I said 30K, okay? And note when you're asked, how much money would you want to have as a job? What would you say? I ask you the question now. Let's make it a little bit interactive and that. Why not? What salary would you be happy with? Let's say in about 3 years after leaving uni.
3 years after leaving uni, I'd say about 60,000.
Okay, 60,000. That's,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's good. How much is that a month?
How much is that a month? You know what? Quick maths, I'm not good with. That's like 5k.
Okay, you know why I say this? You know why okay, so it's not 5k.
I see where you're gonna go with it.
Quick maths, I like what you did there. You see that little T? I set you up there. You see what I did there? Okay, so basically, the reason I asked you the question is because, wallahi, I'm about to tell you something. My mindset was exactly the same. And I tell you that most people's mindset in university is exactly the same. And in fact, the first time we actually hear about tax is when we start working. We get the pay slip, right? And you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, 5 grand. Okay, let's say 60 grand, for example. You look at that and you think 5 grand. Okay, that's how much I got. And then next to it, right, what the Queen Lizzie takes a little bit, right? The tax man, they take a little bit. Okay, that's not a little bit, by the way. And I'm going to give you the numbers, by the way. So you take money on tax, national insurance goes. And if you have got a student loan, the man that student loan, he takes some money. So the point being is, where people say they want £60,000 a year, how many of us actually know how much that is a month take home in our pockets? Because, bro, that's the number that counts, not 60,000.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
So let's look at that now. So what is £60,000? And by the way, it's probably about 3,435. I do this as a job, I guess. So I probably have.
Are you doing the maths there? Are you working it out? Are you working it
out?
Well,
I've got a calculator because it's part of what I do, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
So people jobs and stuff like that. So I have to have a good rough idea.
Yeah. Okay.
But 60,000. So I've got like this tax calculator. It's an app. Anyone can do it. But it's £3,315 if you have a student loan. Okay. Right? Now the point being, bro, £60,000 a year is £3,315. Do people really know that? And do people really work that out? Because if they did, the target would not be 60,000.
Because even if someone asks, it's like you asked me then. If you asked me how much I was on, I wouldn't say how much I'm on after tax. I would say I'm on 60k. And then
you would say 60k,
yeah. You start to believe that you're on 60k, but in reality,
but you're not. Actually. But you're not. Well, you go. Come on, like you go to someone's house, right? All right, you're gonna go for a little rishta and that. Why not? And then the woman said, the lady and the dad says, son, how much?
First question.
You are not gonna say tax on tape. You're gonna big it up. You're gonna say I'm on 6 figures or I'm on 60k, 70k. But in reality, what I'm saying is you're not. So where did my mindset change, bro? Basically, I got my job in recruitment, and I give shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that alhamdulillah I started making good money. In my first year, I think I made 30k. I had a basic salary, but then with commission, I made 30k. And so in my mindset, I was always thinking, if I hit 40, if I hit 50.
How old was you at this point?
22, because I'd been working for a year.
Okay.
So 22. By the time I was 25, I was taking home about 70k. So 3 years in, I was taking home 70k. And that's, by the way, the sort of number that if you ask many guys at uni, they would say, man, I'll be happy with that. Like 70k after 3 years. Like that's my target basically, right? And I'm not here again saying it's not a lot, but what I am saying is it wasn't what I thought it to be, because a lot of the times we think 70k is man sorted. I don't need to, like, I'm financially free. Warren Buffett and me probably sit together. We're just the same basically, right? But that's not the truth. In reality, you realize when you do the deductions and, your responsibilities increase, like a family, us Asians, man, like, we have responsibilities. Like we want to get married early. We want to have a house early. We want to have a car early. Everything's early. And so we put that pressure on ourselves. Now, the point being is, because I started hitting those numbers early, I realized something very important. And that was, these numbers ain't actually what they say they are, basically. It's a facade. Like, it doesn't actually make sense. Anyway, what I would also say is it wasn't just about the money. Now, that was always a big factor. But when I was in uni, bro, I started, I would say, taking my religion quite seriously. And the first time you start taking a religion seriously, your iman, bro, it's like skyrocket. You hear what I'm saying? Like you're typing a lecture, and you're like on basically, you're like listening to a reminder, and everything it becomes like about the deen, basically.
It does, yeah. You incorporate everything. If that comes first, or yeah, definitely. And
I'll ask you a simple. Of course, it's COVID right now. What year are you in, by the way?
I'm final year. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so maybe like in first or second year, yes or no, when you're doing your lectures, maybe you go to the prayer room, you chill there for a little bit, or, you know, just the fact, by the way, that you can chill in the prayer room for a little bit is amazing. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
But when you start working, your day is about the job.
Yeah.
You wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you come home at 6 o'clock, your day is the job. It is not easy for you to just pray salah. It is not just, you don't talk about the religion as such. Even having discussions with your friends about the religion, you don't realize it empowers your iman. It really encourages your iman. These things don't happen when you're working a job, basically, in a corporate environment. So salah became difficult. Not to say that I left it, alhamdulillah, I never did, but it was difficult. Like telling your manager, yo, brother, listen, I need to go pray, right? It's not easy. You know, especially imagine the guy's telling you off. He's like, listen, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing this. And you're there trying to listen. You're like, yeah. Because managers do that, right? They tell you like, you're not doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah, standard work practice.
Yeah. But you have to then, right, that happens. But then imagine he's done that conversation. Maghrib's in like, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes, and you still ain't prayed Asr. And so you need to now tell him, oh, nice chatting to you, brother, but I need to go pray Asr now.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And he's going to look at you
hard.
like, yeah, it is.
Do you get what I'm saying? So that's hard. And these things happen on a day-to-day basis in a corporate environment. And so this is basically why I speak about what I speak about. And alhamdulillah, after about 5 years and earning some good money in a job, I set up my own company. And basically realized that this issue is, you know, there was no one in essence for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, 20, 21, 22, bro, I always thought like, okay, if you want peace, like you can't really be religious and have peace as well.
And, yeah.
Like, okay, you can
mutually
pray.
Exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can pray, but you can't be like, but you're like some big don in like, deen wise, you're seeking knowledge and
that's
you're
a mindset with a lot of
that
people. Even now, I think you find that mindset a lot, don't you? Of course, people don't 100%. They don't incorporate the two together. They make them mutually exclusive. So you can either be one or you can either be the other. You can't be both. But is that different? No, can you be both?
No doubt. Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because the greatest of people that we take from, of course, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are the Sahaba. Now, one of the Sahaba who was promised the Jannah, I'm speaking about one, and there are many, but one of the Sahaba, Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Okay, may Allah be pleased with him. He was a business. He was, in essence, he was a business person. In today's day and age, Jeff Bezos would be nothing to him. He was a billionaire, like for real. I'm not joking. Like he would be a billionaire. So much so that I'll tell you what happened. In essence, Abdurrahman ibn Auf was part of the people in Makkah, basically. For the viewers, I'll phrase it short. Abdurrahman ibn Auf was basically the people of Makkah. Okay, his wealth was like a lot of the whole of Makkah. His wealth was like that. So he accepted Islam basically, and therefore they migrated to Medina. When he was about to migrate to Medina, the people of Makkah, what did they say? They say, you can go, but you have to leave your money behind. Does that make sense? So they say, you can go, no problem, but leave your money. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he said, okay, no problem. So he went to Medina. Now, when he went to Medina, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he actually it was like a buddy scheme, okay? So the people of Medina are called the Ansar. The people of Makkah, the Quraysh, basically. So the people from Makkah, when they migrated to Medina, it was like a buddy scheme. So someone from Medina would like tag up with a guy who migrated from Makkah, and it was like help him out, basically. So the person who got partnered with Abdurrahman ibn Auf, and Abdurrahman ibn Auf was wealthy, hella wealthy. The person said to him, listen, you can have half of my wealth. And he had 2 wives, okay? And back then, this was basically normal. And he said, I got 2 wives, you can have one of my wives, and you can have half my wealth. But Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he was a man of ego, basically. When I say ego, like good, like pride, he was a man, basically. And so he said, no, show me where the market is. I'm going to go do my trades. So he went to the market and he started trading and he made a little bit of money. And the little bit of money he made, he went and got married with it. Now, Abdurrahman ibn Auf became a very wealthy man. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made dua for the money of Abdurrahman ibn Auf to bless his wealth. So he was a very wealthy man where he had hundreds of animals and sheep and camels, and so much so that Uthman ibn Affan, many, I'm sure if the viewers would know of Uthman ibn Affan, may Allah be pleased with him, was extremely wealthy, but his wealth was from the family, from his family base, lineage wealth, basically. And Uthman ibn Affan, he was so wealthy, but you know what he used to say? When he used to see Abdurrahman ibn Auf's caravan, he used to say, that's his caravan, basically. You know what I'm saying? So the point being now is the Muslims, we sometimes think that we cannot have wealth, but the Sahaba, many of them were very wealthy. And if it wasn't for some of those Sahaba, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation we're in, because they funded a lot of the wars. You know, they funded a lot of everything that they had at the time. So yeah, I wrote that you can have wealth and you can be a Muslim as well.
Why is it important for Muslims to have wealth though? Like, what's the importance behind it? Like, why be rich? Why seek for this wealth? Why move jobs? Why not just stick to a 9 to 5, earn that 30k, and all right, you might struggle with your prayers, but you can still get them in. It'll be a struggle, but that's your own struggle, like you test that you're gonna get. But why seek for ulterior means to earn wealth? Like,
see here, it's important to understand and differentiate between what is wrong and what is right. So here, I'm not saying that Muslims are wrong for not having wealth. Of course, you can have a job, no problem. It's like saying, you know, I want to do something good. You know, you get extra reward for doing something good. Does that make sense? So I'm encouraging them to have wealth. And the reason for that is, I'll tell you why. I will maybe tell you a little story to what happened what happened to me maybe a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. A brother joins me in my company that I work in right now. And I'll tell you the story behind it as well. Inshallah, there's a video going to come on this. I'm going to interview him on my channel so the people can see this as well. But basically, he's a revert brother. And he must have came across my social media, basically, and sent me a call, called me, because I put on my statuses, I said, I'm looking for someone in my company, a recruitment consultant. If you're interested, hit me up. And if you're basically good, I'll get you in for an interview and I'll hire you. I have to be honest, bro. My mindset at the time was, I want to get like, you know, a Paul, a Smith, a Harry, because I had 3 Muslims working here, Asians, and I was like, listen, this is getting a bit much. You know, these guys are going to take over, basically. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I need some diversity, basically. Anyway, so, you know, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, too many Asians in one room, bro. It's not a healthy environment. You know what I mean?
It creates healthy competition. It'd be good for business.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so he basically called me, and I said, okay, no problem, come down. And so he had been working in a recruitment company for three weeks, basically. And he said to me, bro, basically, I am finding it hard to pray Salah. I'm praying my fard in Salah. At work, they have music on in the background on radio. So I'm constantly listening to music. And he's a revert brother, by the way. And now he takes his religion very seriously. And he said to me, Alhamdulillah, may Allah SWT preserve him and keep him on it as well. Ameen. And so he basically said, bro, I'm finding my Salah hard. I'm finding it hard to pray. Jum'ah, they're not allowing me to go. They're not allowing me to go to Jum'ah, basically. Because they're saying, like, your Friday prayer, it's 12 o'clock. And if Jum'ah is at 1, I'm sorry, what can we do? Like, you can't basically, you know, your break's at 12 to 1. You have to take it then. And so he said to me, he said, bro, I'm finding it very hard. I have to be honest, wallahi, it was impossible for me to hire someone else. Because I was in a position where I could hire someone, I could put a Muslim in a situation where I'm making it easy for him. And he said to me, he said, bro, we're going to pray Jummah, right? I said, of course we're going to pray Jummah. I said, we don't pray Jummah, bro. We go pray Jummah, we chill with everyone, we sit with the Imam, we chat. What I'm saying, bro, is like, bro, we're Muslims. You get what I'm saying? We pray in Jama'at. But in the office, we pray in the Jama'at, basically. So of course, you know what he said to me? He said, what, can I pray Sunnah as well? I said, subhanallah. I said, you want to pray Quran at your desk? I want you to make that. I do everything. I don't care. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is like empowering a Muslim, wallahi, it's I would say that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. It's my biggest achievement in my whole life. I have to be honest. So what I'm saying
is that making a means for others to also earn wealth, but also practice their religion at the same time.
Of course. So here, it's important for the Muslims to, one, have money, to give money, okay? And I will touch upon this and remind me, but also, so we can hire look, if we need people in business, the Muslims to be in business, Muslims to hire people, because look, bro, if a niqabi, a hijabi sister, basically, is finding it hard to get a job, then who's going to hire her if she's not going to be a Muslim? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro, I've had, by the way, just in case someone thinks that there's no discrimination in the corporate environment, I have had my own director in the past tell me himself, I would hire a hijabi, I would not hire a niqabi. He said it. He said it to me. So he himself has said, like, okay, like he said, I would hire someone who wears a hijab, but I would not hire someone who wears a niqab. and that's deep. So if they're not going to do it, who else is going to do it? Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess there's a deeper meaning then, because when I asked the question about wealth, it's about accumulating wealth, but it's also about accumulating wealth to then facilitate the means for others as well. So you've accumulated the wealth, but you've also create like yourself. Let's say you've created something to then ease other Muslims into their careers.
I mean, again, I'm not saying here like have wealth to be driving around in a Lambo and a Rolls Royce. No, I'm not saying that.
Well,
I'm not saying flash for the gram. I'm not saying that. I'm saying spend in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it is needed. It is needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, look, we know, there's no doubt, there's no hiding about the fact that Muslims are struggling all over the world, right? And I will touch upon this. Sometimes this is unfortunately a issue we have in our heart, and it's something that I've gone through myself, that maybe we earn a decent amount of money. Okay, let's say we earn £2,000 and we see someone who is in need of money, we give them £10. And do we not sometimes feel like, and I'm not saying everyone does, but do we not sometimes feel like, yeah, I've done my part, I'll give him a tenner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I've done my part, like, oh, bro, I'm sick, bro. I just gave someone a tenner, basically. I'm doing bits, okay?
Feel good.
Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The hadith is that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with them both, they were asked to go home and bring charity, okay? Now, Umar al-Khattab, he half of everything he owned, he brought it as charity because he wanted to beat Abu Bakr as-Siddiq in good deeds, okay? He brought half of everything he owned, okay? And he bought a massive bag, basically, right? The point of the story is, I'll get to something, the hadith is something else. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq bought a little bag, rather. And when asked, Umar al-Khattab said, may Allah be pleased with them both, that I brought half of everything I own, but it was a massive bag. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq brought everything, even though it was a little bag. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, he said, I don't need anything else when I've got the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with me, basically. Now, the ponder on that though, that the way they thought, they bought, that's how they bought the money. Do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes we give a tenner, we think we're sick, right? So, and this is something that I have gone through myself, by the way. Not to say that, oh, I'm sick, like I give all my wealth. No, of course, I struggle with this. The point though being is, we need to have the wealth to give the wealth, because if we don't have it, how are we going to give it? So it's important.
I actually came up with it. I've got a story with that, actually, only because I was thinking about it. We actually recently, maybe a year ago, a couple of the lads set up a charity in Manchester called Manchester Muslim Student Fund. And within that, basically, wanted to buy a waqf where it's self-funding. So you buy a property, and then within that, the rent from that, the income, it funds the charity itself. So we don't have to constantly be asking for raising funds, And they can find it. If you want to research the charity that everyone who's watching, they can find what it's about. But the point being was, for the waqf, we've not actually started raising money for it yet. But in my mind, I was just thinking, if only there could be, like, we wanted maybe £500,000 we needed. I said, in my mind, if only there could be multi-millionaires, a couple, or maybe 5, 6 at one time, they could just come together and give us £100,000 each. For a multi-millionaire, or even a billionaire, let's say, there was £100,000. For them, it's like us giving £10. That's how much it means to them.
No doubt.
So it's not a lot, like us saying whether half the wealth or a little bit of their wealth. This is a minuscule of their wealth. So that's why in my mind, it came to me at that time. So when initially, that's what I wanted to say to you as well. There's one point I wanted to bring up, was that the fact that if only we could have these Muslims who come up from our generation, even if it's not within our generation, maybe the next generation, it could be us that come, we earn the wealth. Okay, we keep keep it humble about it and keep the mindset that we're earning for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then later on, when we earn it and we've got the wealth, you can then spend for the ease of what people are talking about in this day and age.
No doubt. And see, this is, you touched upon a very valid point, bro. And again, I ask you that historically, were the Muslims successful or were they not successful? They were successful, right?
Yeah.
So since when have the Muslims started thinking so small?
Yeah.
Because in essence, what we're saying, this is small. This is a small mindset. Since when has a Muslim started having a small mindset of, no, I don't want to achieve more? A Muslim should always thrive. Always. Not for his sake, but for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is good. And you're 100% right. And this is one of the main reasons why I speak about what I speak about. I actually spoke about this, I think it was on Freshly Ground on the Faisals podcast, where I said that if there were 10 Muslims with, let's say like 10 million each, that's 100 million. Right? Imagine the UK, imagine just being able to give like 3 million, basically. I'd happily, bro, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for me. No, that is the goal, that we basically make Muslims successful where they hold tight to their religion. Wallahi, this is important. They have to hold tight to their religion, because sometimes, the money, it confuses some people. That makes sense. We have to keep tight to the religion, and then they give back to the religion. It's key, man. It will help so many, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we spoke about the fact that people should run their businesses and they can not work, not do jobs, but also they can find other means to do that. But how do they go about that? Let's say I approached you and I said to you, look, Abu Musa, I've got £5,000 saved, and okay, that's disposable income. I can spend that. I can afford to spend that on a business. What can I do with £5,000 in this day and age? Can I then use that and to make an affordable income for myself at a later stage? Initially, obviously, business is business, but can I then achieve that?
So, good. I guess, no problem. People do ask me this question, and I would say that it is entirely subjective on the person themselves. See, if there was one business I could tell everyone, I swear, like I would be, everyone would be doing bits, basically. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not easy now to give one business idea to everyone, but to keep it very generic and say that if you have, look, as someone who's now 21 years old, right, and has £5,000 and wants to start a business for themselves, it may be important for them to, for example, learn a certain few things before they start the business. So, for example, if the business you're thinking about means that you have to speak to clients, speak to companies where they're like, they really are to a level where you need to be a certain standard. Otherwise, they will think, who the hell is this guy, basically? Does that make sense? So maybe you need to understand and learn how to even speak to these sort of people, the sort of terms you need to know. So I would say that, one, if you're in that situation, you need to learn before you even get out there. And two, if you're maybe 24, 25, you've had a job for a few years, you understand maybe how to speak to companies, how to businesses, this, that, and the other, depending on what your business is. Then it all comes down to what you like and what you do. So, for example, someone could set up a service-based business, and a service-based business, in essence, means that you're providing a service in return for someone paying you. That could be a person, that could be a company. Whenever it's a service-based business, the startup cost will always be much less because you're not having to do too much. You're giving a service in return for money. Does that make sense? Now, that's not passive. Or not in the beginning anyway, but it means that it's a low startup cost. And look, man, like it's difficult for me to now give you like a idea and say everyone could do it, but there are many. And, I would always say that maybe the Muslims should also look at their own people and think there are 2 billion Muslims in the world. And in business, we're taught always that, not that I studied business, but I didn't, read the book and think I know business now. I do it on a day basis, and that's how we know it. So what I would also say is we always taught that there should be a niche, for example. And what greater niche than having 2 billion Muslims who, in essence, are your market? So you could easily use the Muslims as your market. There's nothing wrong with that as such. It just depends. It just totally depends on what you like doing. For example, you may be good at something. I don't know. You may be really good at one thing that you can teach people. Well, you've got a business now. That makes sense? So I think the advice would always be, one thing I would say is that people don't do this, by the way. I never did it. And I know people don't. That research business ideas. Like, not to say that you're going to go on Google now and come up with type in let's say you go on right now and you type in 100 business ideas for 2021. Okay. Now, people don't do that. I know that for a fact, but they want a business idea, right? But if you just type that in, I'm not saying you're going to get your business idea, but maybe you read a business idea and think, well, hang on a minute. I could put my own little, as I say, little mirch masala on it myself, and then make it my own business idea. And so I would say research and open your mind up and think about it. And inshallah, Allah SWT will give you something, no doubt.
Yeah, risk is from Allah. I was just thinking here, actually, I don't know why, but there's so many different dimensions you can look at why having your own business benefits you as a Muslim. I know you've mentioned them all, but just collating them all. First of all, it makes you ease, as in your salah and the obligations that you need to fulfill on a daily basis. Secondly, there's no really, when you run your own business, depending on how hard you work, that's what your means are going to be, in a sense. So the more effort you put in, the more you're going to get out as well. And I guess so the earning potentials are also increased. And thirdly, you can pick your own hours as well. So in your day, say you need to even take a day off for reasons like saving Eid or like Jum'ah, one day you can't go back and you're running your own business, you can take it off. No one's going to come knocking on your door saying, why have you not turned up to work today? So I think there's multiple dimensions which you can look at.
You know, and on that, maybe I think this would be a good point to, I think the listeners will maybe appreciate this as well, is if we even ask ourselves the question, or rather I'll ask you the question, how much would you want to do for your parents?
As much as you can possibly do. Well, you can never do enough.
Okay, good. So if you start working a job now, and you know, wallahi, this is true, that our parents, and may Allah SWT protect my parents and yours.
Ameen.
But the truth of the matter is, say I put you in the scenario that you're working a job, okay? Allah SWT tells us that He will test us with an illness or something of the sorts. We will always be tested. And so Allah SWT puts one of your parent through a test, right? Where they are unwell, basically, but you're working a job. Would you not want to be with your parent? You would want to look after your parent in that situation. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
So now think about this. If you're in a job, wallahi, I tell you something, you cannot look after your parent by having a job and looking after your parent the way you would want. Because look, I tell you something, and this is one of the reasons I left my job as well. My father actually felt a little bit unwell before I left my job, and we thought it was cancer, but it wasn't cancer, basically, in a nutshell. But basically, I spoke to my director. I said, look, my dad's unwell, etc., etc. Brother, man's got to be at, you know what I mean, in the hospital. And he said, yeah, bro, no problem, man. Yeah, you do you, bro, no problem. 2 days later, he messages me and says, listen, when are you coming back to work? And I'm like, brother, what do you mean? My dad's in hospital. Like, let me be me. Do you know what I mean? Like how, like, I don't know, basically. Like, how can I tell you how long am I going to be? What kind of stupid question is that, basically? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I said that, and I didn't say that at the time, but I thought at that point, bro, like, alhamdulillah, at the time, nothing as such was an issue. But if it was, like, bro, if my dad was going to have his last 6 months, last year, last 3 months, I would want to spend that time with my dad. Does that make sense? I would want to serve my parent, because wallahi, if we can't serve our parents when they need us the most, what are we doing with our lives? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying here now having a job means, oh yeah, that's it. Like, I'm not telling everyone to leave their job now, but I'm saying think about that for a second. You want to be in a situation where you can really look after your parents. And if you're in a situation where it limits you to do that, you should actively be thinking of how to get out of it. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying now no one should have a job, but I'm saying it should be a stepping stone for you to be able to do everything that you do want to do.
I guess it all depends on intention as well. So if that's your intention to then leave your job and why you want to explore other options, then Allah's going to make it easy for you, because then you've put the intention in there. You've done it for the right reasons. You've done it for His sake. You've done it to earn the blessings of Allah SWT. So I think it does come down to intention as well.
No doubt. And I guess it's knowing about the one of the main things we're always taught is to solve a problem, you know there is a problem. Does that make sense? A lot of the times what happens in a job, in a routine, in a, what do they call it? They call it the rat race, no? There's a reason they call it the rat race, because they say in essence, you forget you're even living, bro. I'm telling you. Like, you're just going work, coming home, going work Friday, okay, living. Sunday night, 6 o'clock, I'm stressed. You know what I'm saying? I go work, boom, boom, boom. 3-4 years go by. Wallahi, you don't even realize, bro. So, you know, and that's why it's important to know that there is a problem is the way you will solve it.
I think it's a problem as well, but also it's the excitement that comes with running your own business. So that because you just you said it there, like you're running 9 to 5, you're in a routine, so you're stuck in a rut. That's it for the next. All right, you have 28 days off a year, but that's it. Yeah. You're not got nothing else going, and you're stuck in a rut. Whereas the excitement that comes with a business, one day you don't have to work. 1 week you don't have to work. Or you can work for 3 weeks straight if you wanted to. But it's the excitement that comes with it. You're doing different things. You're meeting different people. I think it even opens your eyes to a lot of different things that you might not see in a normal workplace. So you meet different people as well. And I think you're sort of like, even let's say you run your business and then even your job potentials afterwards. Say you've sacked your business off, you can't run it anymore. Things happened, you couldn't do it, it was stressful. And then now you wanted to go into a job again. But the experience that you get with running your own business, I don't think you're going to get in a normal workplace. Like, even as a student coming out, we've not got much experience unless you've run your own businesses, unless you've got family business and stuff. But I say if you come out of uni and you attempt maybe 2 years, 3 years, you run your own business, your potential of getting a job that you want because of the skills that you've learned by failing, or even you might have been successful but you still want to get a job, but let's say you failed,
Yeah,
but
sure.
even the skill set that you've learned with failing will be better than just sticking with a 9 to 5 job for 3 years.
Yeah.
Am
And
I
no
right in
doubt,
saying
and
that?
of course, when you leave university again, and just I'm gonna hit upon a point before though, is you said that you're able to think, okay, when you have a business. And that's one of the biggest changes I felt like I went through when I left my job and started my own business. Bro, the scholars, they say something. They say that a third of your time should be spent on reflection. Tadabbur, they say, okay? Reflecting upon your surroundings, the world, the life that you just thinking. Because when you're in a job, you go work 7 o'clock, you come home 6, 7 o'clock, bro, you lay down on the sofa, you're like some dead soul, basically. Your mumsy says to you, listen, do you want anything to eat? And you're just like, whatever. Like, you don't want to talk. You're for real, you don't want to talk. And I realized, like, when I started my own company, bro, sometimes I would just sit in the masjid, read some Quran, I just chill. But just 45 minutes, an hour. But the fact that I could do that was something like it took me to a different level. The fact that I could just reflect upon my life and the blessings I have and everything like that is key. It's key and so needed.
Even for yourself, like even for your own health, for your own mental health, for your own ease, like your own relaxation, like you can do that all. Like again, we were saying before, two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Your deen and your job doesn't have to be, neither does your health. Your health and your job don't have to be mutually exclusive. Sorry, they can go hand in hand. You can also, let's say you did that. That's good then for your own soul, your own spiritual health, but also your mental health. You're relaxed, and then you might, if you were going to go back to work after that, you might even work better than working consecutive and just having a 30-minute to an hour break in between.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're just because of that, you're much more pleasant even around being at home, even for example. You're much more pleasant at home because you haven't got the stress of work as such, like alhamdulillah, if your business is doing okay, basically, your parents need you, you're there. Boom, I'm there, basically, Yeah, I think tomorrow my parents need me. Like, I'm not coming to work. The lads will be at work, they'll be doing their thing. I told them, listen, I can't be here, basically. There's a funeral on Friday. I'm not going to be here on Friday. Looks like I never work, but trust me, I do. But the point being is, the point being is,
I think you're just saying that. You're just saying that to these because before we got on air, you were saying me that you don't work. You get up 5 o'clock, take a picture for Instagram, and go back to bed again.
Well, exactly. But no, on a serious note, man, like even the fact that I'll give you an idea, I've got a child now. Okay. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and make him one on the religion.
Ameen.
Now for him, bro, I'll be honest with you, like think about this now. When I go home, I leave work sometimes at 5:30ish, I leave. Okay. My missus puts him to bed at about 7:30. Okay. So when he sleeps at 7:30, really and truly, I've only got like 2 hours to chill with him in the weekdays. Okay. But if I was working a job, there's no way I'm getting home for 5:30. It's just not possible. I'm getting home at 6:37. So by the time I get home, he's already asleep. And on the weekends is the only time I can spend with my child. Bro, do you know how bad that is as a Muslim that the father cannot give his child the time? It's a big fitna, bro. So there are so many avenues to now, sometimes I feel like, like I haven't spent a couple of days with my son. I'll be like, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'll just chill with him. Or sometimes, he'll be like slapping my face up in the morning. He's only like 7, 8 months old. And then we slapping my face in the morning trying to wake me up. And I'll be like, and he'll be like, and I'm about to leave. And he'll be like, like he'll make this sad face. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'll just stay home. A couple of hours, I'll just stay home, And so the point being is like, I'll be honest, bro, that's deep. Like,
it is, yeah.
You don't.
There's more to it.
Look, what I'm saying, exactly. It's not now to say don't have a job or jobs are terrible or this. No, the same way you see uni as a stepping stone to get a job. Now I say look at a job as a stepping stone to get a business. That's what I say.
I think it depends on your mindset as well, and depends on your own experience as well. So you've been through multiple experiences, first of all with your parents, and now you're still on a daily basis. Should you choose, if you had a job at the moment, it'd be an ongoing battle with yourself every morning to get up and leave him. Now you've got the ease. Whereas, like, say, I think it's different. If I had no responsibilities, I had no family, nothing, I was on my own. Okay, yeah, you've got the ease to do what you want, but I wouldn't mind then having a job where I work 9 till 9 and I'm earning. But it depends on there comes to a point in your life where I think priorities take over sometimes. And I think as your parents age, or even you age with your experience, you tend to learn a bit more. Where do your priorities lie? What comes first? Does your deen come first? Does your job come first? But with a job, that's where you don't need them questions.
Yeah. this is where I think the issue has come to, because in essence, if we be very sincere now, like I've got many friends who, like for example, maybe are not who are non-Muslims. When I say many friends, like I know a couple of lads, and their life situation is very different to a Muslim's, right? A Muslim is expected to get married and expected to have children, expected to look after the family, etc., etc. However, the situation of maybe a non-Muslim, generically speaking, maybe like, oh, like I don't need, I was out my house, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, like I do my own thing, you know, I live by myself. Maybe I'll get married at 35, 36. It's all right. Like, I got a girlfriend. I'm not really going to get married. Really and truly, like many people, they don't want to get married anymore, you know? And so the point now being that job situation can suit that environment. It makes sense for that environment. But when you have to serve your parents, look after your children, and be there for your wife as well, you know, and be able to study the religion, know the basis of your religion, basically, be able to pray salah, these things. Like, look, your life here, your life here is completely different, and the life there is completely different. But the amount of time you're spending in the same thing, in essence, a job, right? 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock, or 7 to 7, or whatever, basically, is the same.
Yeah. How difficult was it though? Let's say before setting your business up, you must have battled with your thoughts to then say, should I leave my job? I don't know what you was earning at the time, but I think you was earning a decent amount of money as well. So, okay, you're earning 70K at the time. So to leave that is not easy, firstly, but then to also come up with an idea where you want to set your own business up and the difficulties that come with that. It must have come with a couple of, nothing's a breeze. Nothing's a walking by. You're not going to one day wake up, come up with a job idea and start it the next day.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's not an ease. But I think mindset is so very important as well. So failing was never an option. I have to be honest. Failing was never an option. Like, if someone said to me, like, oh, no, it's not going to work, man. You know, I'll probably see you back in the job in like a couple of years. I'll say, I'll be honest with you, I'm never coming back to a job. If I have to live off £1 a week, I'll win. But I'm not coming back to a job. Like, I guess it's one of those, like, even if I have to, that's different. But your mindset cannot be that you will come back. Because if your mindset is that, you're already planning to fail.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You're already going back. You might as well stay.
Yeah, like you can't have the mindset like you will fail. You make it work regardless. So I had what I did is I got like a part-time job in the evenings. You know, bro, I was there like 25 years old. I'm there with call center lads. Like, I'm just having banter with them, and they're like 19, 20 years old. And they're like, raw, brother, like, how you working it? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I'll be honest with you, like, it is what it is. So, you know, you let go. So here, imagine this now. You know, at the time, I'm on 70K and I got a job in a call center for 3 months. Because alhamdulillah, after like 2 months, the business did actually start making some decent money. So I didn't need to, in essence. But the point being is I was making 70K a year. I left that to start a part-time job where I was actually making, I think, like £9 an hour, £10 an hour.
It takes a lot to do that.
Yeah, bro, but I was fine with that. I was having bands, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like, so the point being is because I knew I was, in essence, doing something for myself.
Yeah,
you know,
something better and bigger. Aside from that job, you had something waiting for you.
The first amount of money that hit my account, basically, like, I can't really go into recruitment how it works too much because we'll be here for ages, but I got £60, okay, in this first week. And that £60, like, I got a screenshot of it as well, was like, oh, this is my like, this is my business. It shows it worked, you know? Yeah. I made £60 basically.
Yeah.
Now maybe whatever I did, and you know, the funny thing is, but that money was made basically. Me and my boy, we were playing FIFA in my house, and I was there laying on my bed. Basically, we were playing FIFA and stuff. And the first month, I can't lie, like, we said we were gonna run the company, and I said I was gonna start, and I was gonna teach my friend basically how to do it. We didn't really do it. We just ended up playing FIFA for about a month. But I did some work, and you know,
that's when you used to go home in the evenings and say, "Oh, I'm tired. It's been a tough day at work. I can't speak. Cut me some fruit."
Yeah, no, because I used to go to my bedroom, basically. My friend used to come there, and from my bedroom, because my bedroom was like a box. If anyone knows how a box room is, yes, it was like a box room. So like, you can't get too many people in there. But me and him would bang some FIFA, and downstairs my parents would be thinking, "Oh, mashallah, Putter, he's working so hard."
Working hard.
But really, I was banging my boy in FIFA. So,
he's working hard.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in that period, I actually got like 1 or 2 guys out working, like, honestly, bro, like sending a quick email, sending a quick little boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And I meant it, and then I was like, bro, like, I could really make this work, you know? And then that's where I was like, you know what? I put the controller down for 3 years then, and I said, nah, let's make this work.
I think
now I play FIFA. Yeah, now you
play in the office. I think we'll have to set a game up. I don't like that attitude. I think you sound too good.
But I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I'm different. I play with India, man. No problem.
Yeah, you play too much. That's the problem.
Yeah. I've got time now. You see,
there we go. That's another positive. I tell you what.
Where people were playing in uni and then they stopped playing uni. Now me is different, you know. Now with the business, I'll be like, yo, I got better time. Ultimate team, we say I'll bang it every day.
You know what the problem is? People are going to start showing this podcast to their parents, saying, "Look, he's done it. Mommy, he was playing FIFA, and now he got a job. He's left, and now he's still playing FIFA. What's wrong with it?"
Exactly.
But I think ultimately it does come down to your mindset. It definitely does, and depends what changes you're willing to instill.
Super important.
Yeah, and I don't think with businesses you have to as soon as when people start with businesses, the first thing they think of is when they start is risk. How much am I willing to lose? But I don't think to start a business you need to lose that much. Initially, I don't think that there has to be a big risk factor in there. Okay, the bigger the risk, maybe the bigger reward, as the saying goes, but it doesn't have to be. I think you can start small and slowly build up. I always like seeing these niche businesses, these small ones. Like a couple of my friends set up these aftershave businesses even, and found a niche in the market and they started hitting it, and it's just on the side selling on eBay. But I think these little ones are tick, and it can grow to something bigger. You meet people within the market, you meet people within the same. Even properties, I think properties, people think, oh, I have to go and get a mortgage. I can't get involved in mortgages. I don't want to do that. But even then, initially, I was telling my friends recently, a couple of months ago, it must have been, that I said, there's a business idea, which if you want to get involved and do it, they're like, oh, what is it? I said, there's a thing called rent to rent. What you need to do is basically go approach a landlord and say to him, can I lease this house off you for 5 years, a full house, and then you rent each bedroom out as a HMO. I said, okay, you got the bills included, but you'll come out with a decent income at the end of the month. And there was like, oh, risk and that. But with that, there's no risk. You've not got nothing attached apart from what you're spending on the property itself. There's nothing. But it depends what you know and the experiences. I feel that the more you broaden your horizons to these little experiences, might start with a small part-time job, but will end up with something bigger.
This question was actually put to me yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, Monday. Beautiful brother. I don't know if you know Bukhari TV. You know Abu Musa?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was here basically in the offices, and we were doing a podcast together. And he asked me. He said, "Bro, like if you could basically give anyone if you could teach everyone like how to do recruitment, would you teach him basically?" And I said, "Yeah, I would teach him, but I know something for sure. 99.9% of them would never do it." And he said, "Why?" I said, because they ain't got the mindset to do it. Yeah. People ain't got that mindset, bro. Like, it's not easy. Like, people just think like, this is the problem. This is why these get rich quick schemes do so sick, bro. Because it's actually like, oh, just boom, boom, you only need 3 hours and you'll be rich. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
So, this is why, like, I'll be honest with you, 99% of the people will just not have one, that you're right. There's an element of they're too scared. People are scared because having a job is safe. It's not the best. It's just safe. That's what it is.
It is.
Having a mortgage is not, the best, but it's safe. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just people are too scared, bro. That's what it is. And people don't want to make the effort. Today, look, I have to be honest, like on Friday nights now, for example, I sit and I record videos and stuff like that. Monday to Friday, I'm working. Sunday, and then I'm editing all week and stuff like that. It's effort. A few people have said to me, oh, we want to start social media, for example. And I've said, yeah, cool, do it. Just pick up a phone and start recording. But they message me. People actually think this now. I'll give you an idea. Yes or no, do people not think, oh, let's talk about the YouTubers that are killing it, basically. They'll be like, oh, YouTubers, all they do is make a couple of videos and they're killing it. But really and truly, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
These men, like, they're recording.
Yeah.
They have to come up with the content. They have to plan the content. They record it. They edit it. There's a lot to it, basically. Yeah. But people think, oh, he's just recording a couple of videos. Look at him, he's a millionaire now.
But even at that time, though, when they starting, they have to live off something. So initially, they're not making money off YouTube, not making money off. For years. But they've got a job at the same time. Then they're coming home, they're grafting at the YouTube, and then they're spending the week editing. And then at the time, they've only released one video. They've got to do it all over again to release a second video again. Yeah. So it comes with the effort, mindset. There's multiple things you've got to.
100%. And so this is why when sometimes people say to me like, oh, bro, like, I want to learn recruitment as well. And inshallah, I will make something for people to learn recruitment as well. But I'm still saying people won't do it because people see now I sit in the office and I employ people when I talk about where it is now a couple of years later, alhamdulillah. But they don't see like how I was sitting in my living room on the sofa.
They want you to show them.
Trying to make calls. It was hard.
They want you to show them how to get to where you are tomorrow. That's
Yeah,
what they want to see. They want to see. So if
Oh.
you said to them, I'll show you recruitment, they don't want to see the recruitment which you started 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, and you
Yeah.
started grafting. They want to see how to show them how you got there now.
Well, people have actually said to me, can you get on a call with me to tell me about recruitment because I want to start my own company? Bro, and it's like, bro, I'll be honest with you, it would take me a minimum of 6 months to teach you how to do recruitment, like no less. How can I do that over a call?
I think we've
I
just
will
found
be
a new
misguiding
business.
you.
We've just found a
Huh?
new business idea for you.
What's that?
Teaching people how to recruit. He said 6 months. 6-month courses. We're dishing them out now. Let me know what your
Oh,
commission's like. I'll start podcasting them on here.
no, but the truth is, like, a lot of people want to know, and I'm happy, like I've said, like I am happy to teach people how to do recruitment. And maybe it is something I would, but I'm still gonna say, like, I'm not gonna sit here to you and be like, by the way, you will be rich. No, I'm gonna sit here and say, listen, brother, most of the time you're not gonna do it because you're too, you know what? You're too, this phone here, I got a phone here, you're too scared to do this, basically.
Yeah.
You're too scared because you think the guy at the end of the line is gonna be like, be quiet, I don't want to talk to you. You're too
Yeah.
scared. So
risk averse. I think that's
it's easy to say, get on a call with me, let me teach you recruitment.
Yeah.
And it's hard to actually say, I'm gonna smash it, basically.
Yeah. Ultimately, it comes down to, like I said, mindset. But there's so many different factors. Initially, just to wrap it up, as to why a Muslim in this day and age, especially now with everything going on, jobs are a few and fair between anyway. The market for jobs is so hostile at the moment that uni students like myself, third year now, we're going to be coming out, and there's not going to be much left for us. Because now we're already looking. So even now, the best time to start, I feel, with your own business, when look, we're our age, we're 21, 22, 23 years old. You've got minimal responsibilities at that age.
What you got to lose?
Exactly. What have you got to lose?
You've done nothing.
You're not, if you're living at home, you've not got the bills. All right, I don't want to generalize it with everyone, but you've not got the bills to pay. You've not got kids. You're not married. You got nothing. So like, what you earn is yours. You go and spend that how you want, but put it into something that's going to later on be a means for you to basically earn Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's reward, firstly, with the money that you're going to be earning, but also to benefit the Muslims as well. I think that's what it comes down to. Instead of thinking about ourselves all the time, I think let's think about the ummah, and the ummah will then come together, and then we sort of grow together. And it's these little changes. Like, you can't, I don't want to sit here getting all what do they call it when someone says a quote, but like, instead of thinking about ourselves, you make the small changes within yourself first, and then that makes the bigger changes around us. And it's not about the money. Ultimately, I didn't want, again, when it came to the podcast, I didn't want the podcast to be about it was about what you spend the money on and how we spend it, what the reasoning behind it is, what the reason to earn money is. Because earning millions of pounds isn't going to enter you into Jannah. It's going to be obviously, because the risk is determined anyway, but it's going to be what we spend ultimately.
No doubt. And that's what it comes down to, man. It does come down to where you spend your money. You can have £1 billion, but if you don't spend it in the right, your money is either going to be accountable for you it's going to be good for you, or it's going to take you to Jahannam, in essence. Because if you have £1 billion and you're not spending it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, well, you think that's not going to count for you, brother, you're in some deep trouble there. You know what I'm saying? So, if you have a lot of money, and this is not just to say for the lot of money, to be honest, this is even us for the people in the West who have jobs even. This isn't, here, I'm not just saying the people who are very wealthy, even the ones who we have like jobs and money and stuff like that. Us money eating like KFC every day, basically, of course, like, we will be accountable for our wealth, no doubt. Every single penny.
Every penny you spend, every penny you earn, you're going to be accountable for it somewhere. We can't get away with that easily.
So it's important, man. It's important, I guess, for the, to conclude, I think it's very important for the Muslims to have our mindsets that, one, we have always been the people who strive for success. We should strive for success. Do not just think to yourself that you should, be comfortable, happy, that I'm fine, no problem. Okay, sometimes people get this mixed, okay? They call, I'm content. Okay, here, bro, you're content. But when we're in our deen now, does it say you're content? Well, okay, so does that mean you don't need to seek more knowledge? Does that now mean that you don't need to strive? Is that what no, that's not what it means. It means whatever you do, be content and happy with it, less or more, but still strive for as much as you can. Not for yourself, but for the Muslims, and for to help the Muslims even more.
Definitely, barakallahu feek. I think after that, I don't think we said it in on text that I don't think any MMU student is getting a job after this. Everyone's getting a bit.
Subhanallah.
And I won't say what I said as the reply because I don't want to offend no MMU students. I'm one myself, but
No problem. No problem.
no
No problem.
one's getting no one's getting a job after this.
No problem.
But Jazakallah khair. I think it's very
Barakallahu
needed. It's very needed. It's different as well to what we're used to hearing as students as well, especially as part of the society. We usually talk about the usuals, but coming out of university, I think they're so important to learn how to manage money. I know we didn't talk about managing money much, but how to manage money, the taxes, the finances. It's all real. It's all life. It's very raw. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to come out of university, it's going to hit you like a brick wall.
I will actually I think there's a point that I didn't make, and I think it's very important for the young brothers, especially who are maybe going to be looking to get a job, etc., that remember this is something which is very important, comes up a lot, and it's when you go for the interview stage, you're expected to shake hands with the opposite sex. If that's a woman, for example, you're expected to shake the hand. Remember, Allah SWT tells us that in the hadith of Rasulullah SAW, we know that touching the opposite sex, it is better for a needle to be put through our heads. It is better for that to be put through our heads than to shake the hand. And so what I would say is be very wary to not to do it, and know that you have to hold your religion very close to you. And know that if in that instance you say, no, but I need a job, no, but I have to, no, but it is what it is, you got to do, a brother's got to do what a brother's got to do. Right? No, understand. If you do something haram to impress the people, whether that be to shake a hand, whether that be to go to the pub, okay? Now, some people, they think that I can go to the pub and I can drink orange juice and no problem, right? Orange juice, no problem. Yeah, alcohol is there, no problem. The hadith, we know you cannot sit on the table where khamar is being served, okay? So 2. These all things come into, when you get into a corporate environment, they do happen, and people they expect it of you. Hold tight to your religion, because if in that instance, you're more worried about what that person thinks rather than what Allah Rabbul Izzah thinks, wallahi, it's peak, because you're choosing that person over your creator, basically, in that instance. So be very wary. May Allah SWT protect us all, and bless us abundantly, and make the dunya as well as the akhirah easy for us.
May Allah bless you for your time, your efforts, and increasing your risk as well. If anybody does want to see any more YouTube videos and even podcasts and stuff that Abu Musa has done, what's your YouTube name? Is it just Abu Musa? Or?
It's just Abu Musa, man. Yeah.
So there's loads on there. Even before this, I was looking at the moment. You're talking about scammers and all the rest of it.
I'm coming for them, bro.
You know what? I was going to talk to you about that, but it's a whole conversation in itself. I was looking just before this. I was going to mention it. I thought, that's a long conversation. I'm not going to get into that. I'm coming,
bro. They don't even know what's going to hit them, bro. They don't even know what's going to hit them, bro.
That's if you're listening. I don't know if any.
Those forex traders. I'm coming for you.
Forex traders trading 212. Abu Musa is on your case. He's coming. So you know where to hide. The guy's after you. Barakallahu feek. Like I said, if anybody does want to check it out, Abu Musa on YouTube. And if, like I said, we're a new podcast. We're actually early in our stages. So follow us on our YouTube as well. It's MMU ISoc. And we're on Apple Podcasts now, Google Podcasts, Spotify, just all the rest of it. Just type in the Muslim Interlude and inshallah you'll find it. So do support our page as well. Big Jazakallah khair to Abu Musa for attending, taking his time out. And inshallah we will catch up soon. Jazakallah khair.
BarakAllahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Oh